Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's Cynicalex. And as we wait for a new update, one question is on everyone's minds. When are we going to get the next mutant update? That's right. In Marvel Future Fight, there are plenty of different types of characters, but they've sort of delineated two major factions, mutants and non-mutants. And the way they've done that in this game, as you know as a player, is by diversifying the resources that you use to build them up. You use a black antimatter and chaos nornstones to build up regular type characters like Black Panther and Captain America, and then you use phoenix feathers, Mcron crystals, and Mcron shards for characters like Rogue and Storm. But we haven't had a mutant update almost this entire year. We've had literally one mutant update, which was the X of Swords update with Rogue, with Cable, Gambit, and Nightcrawler. That gave us 0 new mutant characters and only reworked 4 characters. So why am I talking about mutant updates now, right? Why in October are we talking about mutant updates? Well, for one, like I said at the beginning of the video, every time we get an update this year, people are wondering, is this the update that's going to bring us more mutants? And the reason why they're wondering about that is because of the recently revamped crafting system, and by connection, the crafting events that we have only seen a glimpse of recently. Why does that connect to mutants? Well, because you need both resources. You need the resource for both things, and it's actually really lucrative, especially if you're not an end game player, to use those Mcron crystals and phoenix feathers to craft comic cards. We all know that. But there's an extra problem. There's a secondary problem to why people are wondering, and I'm sort of hoping, not just wondering, I'm hoping that we get a mutant update or 2 or 3 ASAP. Let me throw out some names for you really quick, just before I explain what's going on. Shang-Chi, Human Torch, Proxima Midnight, Scarlet Witch, Mr. Fantastic, or The Maker, as he's known now. Even characters like Black Panther, Crescent, the Immortal Hulk, Captain America, Sam Wilson, War Machine, Blue Marvel, Ghost Rider, Thor, TVA Loki. What do all these characters have in common? Well, those in particular are all tier 3s, but they've all been reworked this year or last year. In the last year, they've all been reworked with amazing new uniforms. Guess who doesn't get uniforms? Mutant characters. That's right. Mutant characters don't get reworks because they don't get updates. And because they're not put into updates with other characters, even if they don't belong, right? So for example, I mean, basically the only character that's gotten what you could argue is a sort of rework is Cable. Because if you missed out on his uniform earlier this year, the X of Swords uniform, you could go ahead and buy the Summer Days uniform when it came on sale again a couple months ago. But that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about, actual reworks. Basically, we got X-23, Gambit, the Cable X of Swords, Rogue, and yeah, that's it. And sort of Nightcrawler, sort of, and Deadpool, but not really. So, yeah. But besides that, this year we haven't seen a single mutant get updated, and that's a big deal because you think about and we talk about how important it is that all these characters are getting reworked, and it's really good for the game, and it is really good for the game. Yeah, Professor X, kind of, right? Not really, though, right? Not really. So you talk about this, but then I realized today, and I should have realized it sooner, but yeah, it's not happening for the mutants. So look at how many mutants we have that have never even seen their first uniform. Just their first uniform. Strife, Dakin, Juggernaut, Warpath, Bishop, Dazzler, Jubilee, Kid Omega, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Rachel Summers, Weapon Hex, Phantom X, Kitty Pryde. All of those characters have never seen a single uniform. And I know that there's more characters down here who need reworks as well, who are not mutants. I realize that. But the proportion of total mutants in the game versus unreworked sort of bad mutants is growing larger and larger with every update, because they constitute a larger portion of the game, because all the characters getting minted at tier 3 and Transcendence are getting reworks and getting uniforms. We saw Katie and Wenwu earlier, but that's basically it, right? Besides them, we still have a ton, and of course I still skipped over a bunch of bad mutants that have uniforms like Beast, Iceman, Emma Frost, now Sabretooth, Magic, even to a lesser extent Psylocke, who's a 6,600 crystal character who's supposed to keep up with characters like Moonstone. And she's clearly not. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. And the thing is it's not a big deal that's going to go away quickly, right? They're not going to have some sort of end of sale, end of day uniform bonanza for mutants. They're not going to drop 10 mutant uniforms in one update. We're not going to have the mutant version of Infinity War here, guys. I mean, it'd be cool if we did, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon in an elegant way that we're used to seeing in these updates. So what are you going to hope for? Maybe like a Brotherhood of the Mutants update where we get Juggernaut and Sabretooth, maybe a couple of other guys, plus maybe a new Magneto look or whatever. You know, who knows, right? Are we going to get something Phoenix Force related? So maybe they can hit Magic, they can hit Rachel Summers, they can hit Kid Omega, all the previous owners of the Phoenix Force. They can do some of the new ones like Wolverine and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's kind of a growing problem, right? You basically have 3 full rows, 24 characters who are just sitting in limbo, because at the current pace, we're getting 1 mutant update a year. So those 24 characters, even if 4 of them get brand new uniforms, we're talking 8 years. It sounds ridiculous now that I put it like that, right? But it's true. We got Rogue, Gambit, X-23, Cable this year, and that's it. That was the whole bang. I might be missing 1 character off the top of my head, but you know, you get it, right? And Professor X. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. And so it's sort of a dual problem here, right? It's a dual problem for the developers, because if we're not getting mutant updates, then we're not getting reworks for these characters. We're not getting uniforms for these characters. And then on top of that, for the players, it's a constant question mark, which it's not that much of a question mark, but it still is, of using versus hoarding these materials. Now, of course, my advice to you is always cards first, right? There's no one character in this game that's going to matter more to you and it's going to do more for you than crafting your cards or just equipping 5 mythic cards. So I always advocate cards first. But unlike the other characters, and to be fair, there's like 40 mutants in the game or something like that. I don't know, 50 mutants in the game. And then the rest are all non-mutants. So the vast majority, right, we're talking like out of 250 characters, 200 of them are not mutants. But on the flip side, we don't have to use black antimatter and chaos nornstones for crafting. You just use it for ranking up characters. And you don't even use it for the majority of those characters until they reach level 60 to 70, which is just that potential jump that you can even gamble on. But none of the crafting here you're going to actually complete with black antimatter or chaos nornstones, right? No one is here using that stuff. Maybe for one of the events, we don't know in the future, but you sort of get what I'm saying. And so as you can see, I've been able to stockpile, and this is, again, it's an issue that the devs know about. It's very easy to stockpile tons of this because we don't have any time. We don't use it anywhere. You know, what are they going to do? Release a bunch of native tier 2 characters? No, right? But they got to give us some way to burn it. I would do a crafting event personally, but yeah, it's super easy to hoard this like crazy. Like, look at this, almost 60,000, and this is nothing. I know there's some people watching who are free to play who have double what I have in black antimatter because they never built up Gladiator and these characters that aren't really that useful right now. But anywho, I digress. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I think a lot of people still ask that question every month, right? Is this next update, right before we see a sneak peek, and I'm assuming we see a sneak peek tonight, is this update going to be the mutant update of the year? And it sort of dawned on me, if that's the pace that we continue to have, we may never see a good Wolverine. No, I'm just kidding. You guys can you guys can meme on me for as long as you want that Wolverine's garbage. It doesn't bother me at all, as long as you guys are talking about Wolverine. No, but seriously, it basically means we may never see, for example, tier 3 Beast or tier 3 Strife or a really good Juggernaut who's literally unstoppable the way he should be, or a really good Bishop who's, you know, has that energy absorption property sort of like Captain Marvel. Right? These are really cool, really strong characters with a lot of really dope powers in the comics, and we may never see them in the game. And that does kind of bum me out. And so it's sort of the dark side of all these reworks is that there really has not been a focus at all on mutants. So my hope is, knowing that we basically only have one update between now and the end of the year that we don't know about. For those of you keeping score here, November is going to be Eternals, December is going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. So in my view, unless I've miscalculated things, we just have this October update that could possibly roll as mutant. So I'm kind of hoping that the October update is mutant. I'm kind of hoping that the January update is mutant, so that we can do a little bit of catch up. Not ketchup. Anywho, puns aside, let me know what's on your burger tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No, anyways, let me know what you think of the video and my thoughts on that and the mutant class in general. Have you found the game more or less exciting now that you've probably been spending a lot less time playing as mutants? I haven't even covered the fact that a lot of the best or former best mutants for content are now basically irrelevant. Jean Grey, Namor, Storm, even Magneto, to a lesser extent Professor X, and that's not Deadpool even, and that's not me saying I want those characters to come back. They had their time in the sun, in the meta, but it's not like we're saying there are some really strong tier 3 transcended mutants and then the rest that aren't tier 3 and transcended are weak. It's kind of across the board that mutant characters are pretty weak, and I think outside of probably Cable and Gambit and Rogue, there's not that much, and maybe Apocalypse, yeah, Apocalypse for ABX. There's not that much use for them for the vast majority of players. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the discussion, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.